This is my YouTube Q&A series. So I'm going to be doing Q&As here on YouTube. I'm going to be gathering questions from my Instagram on a weekly basis and also comments below. So comment below on this video and let me know what questions you guys have, and I'll pick a few of the popular ones or creative ones. Don't ask me any weird shit, I'm not gonna answer, but I'll take the most common questions that'll help everybody or the most creative questions, and I'll make videos like this and continue to upload them and answer your questions. So today I'm going to pick a couple questions from my Instagram that I posted this morning, asking what people wanna hear about. So let's pick a couple of these at random. What do you eat in a day? All right, so I just filmed that a little bit earlier. I'll be dropping that video very soon, so look out for that. A whole day of eating what I'm currently eating right now. I'm not in prep and I'm not in a full-blown off season, so it's a pretty interesting diet. HIIT versus steady state versus circuits, which one is best and which one burns the most amount of fat? There's another video that I just made about HIIT cardio explaining it. Depends on where you're at body fat wise, what you're trying to accomplish, and your calories. If you're very, very low on calories and you're in a hard diet, HIIT is just going to drain you. It can break down muscle, make you exhausted. But I recommend, if you're going to ask me which one burns the most amount of fat, all day long, HIIT burns more fat than steady state. But look out for that video. It's going to be on a wind bike. I prefer it on the wind bike or a spin bike. Clean shopping and healthy diet. A lot of diet questions here. I'm gonna have a lot of videos coming up on my day of eating and dieting. Cardio and eating in the off season versus in the prep. So is your food the same? So my food in the off season and prep is almost identical. Like the foods that I eat don't change much, right? So I have certain foods that I like, that I enjoy, and that I'm comfortable eating, that digest well with me, and those pretty much stay the same. The difference in off season and in pre-contest is I just eat more or less, right? That's pretty obvious. When I do diet hard, certain foods can irritate me. Like I'm eating a lot of broccoli right now and I love it. But when I'm really close to a show, for whatever reason, they don't really work well with my stomach. They bloat me and they irritate me. What I've noticed is when I go really low carb, too much vegetables, too much fiber actually inflames my intestines. So like fiber is healthy. We all hear you should have fiber, you should eat vegetables, but too much of it can really upset your stomach. So that's something that changes. But for the most part, it's just like my macros change, right? So I eat a little less fat, I eat a lot less carbs, I will carb cycle both off season and pre-contest, and obviously I do a lot more cardio. Do I do cardio in the off season? Yes, I personally do. Besides doing some cardio for your heart health, I think it just depends on the person. Like if you're eating a ton of food and you're staying super lean just from your training, then you don't need much cardio. Right now, currently, I want to maintain my body composition. I'm pretty lean. I still have striations in my glutes and my legs, and you can see my abs. I do fasted cardio. I enjoy doing it. I like starting my day with that, so I still have about 30 to 40 minutes of cardio in. But I'm eating a lot more. So if I was to start prep tomorrow, my cardio probably wouldn't change. It probably wouldn't increase at all throughout the whole prep, but my calories would go down. And that being said, if you guys aren't training really hard, you're not burning a lot of calories. So I see some people doing like an hour and a half of cardio, but then when I watch them work out, they're like half-assing it. So if you guys train harder and you push yourself more, you're gonna burn more calories. Food and training, answered those. Got a lot of questions here. Specific split to improve one body part because it's smaller than the rest. This is a great question, right? And I got asked this question this morning actually. Symmetry is key in bodybuilding and just everyday life and fitness. Nobody wants to be lopsided, right? So I think that everyone should pretty much look in the mirror and unbiasedly decide what they need to improve. Everyone is just doing the same split that every other bodybuilder is doing. You know, chest buys, back and tries, shoulders, legs, and it might not be right for you. One body part might need more training than the other. So what I would do is break that body part up as far as you can, right? Give yourself at least 3 or 4 days of rest in between. The best way to do this is to not have a 7-day split. You don't have to train in a 7-day window. 7-day work week has nothing to do with your body. You can make your split last 4 days. You can make your split last 8 days. So don't go by a 7-day calendar. Currently, I'm training everything once, but I'm training my legs twice. On one day, I hit hams with light quads. On the other day, I hit quads with light hams. But I make sure I get 3 days of rest. So I'm currently on a 6-day split, and sometimes it'll push into 7 if I feel like I need more rest. So what you can do is just emphasize on that body part. Try to hit that body part twice in your weekly split, whether your weekly split is 5 days or 7 days. And make sure if you're having a high carb day or if you're having a cheat meal, make sure it's on or before that day. Meaning, if you're gonna have a surplus of calories, make sure you're fueling that muscle. Because at the end of the day, if you train a lagging body part really hard today and you're in low calories, and then tomorrow you're training another body part, you're not going to be getting much of the nutrients to the body part you're trying to grow. So ideally, on that weaker body part day, you wanna jack your calories up a little bit, and if you can, rest the next day. So the next day, all the food you're eating is just gonna go to help you recover that body part rather than fueling another body part for the training. So I hope that answered that question. How to prepare diet for bulking and cutting. So do you count calories here? So I'll end it with this question. I get asked all the time, how many calories do you eat, Arash? Do you count calories? And to be perfectly honest with you, I have no clue. I rarely ever count my calories. Sometimes if I'm really curious in prep, I'll try to calculate them, which, by the way, nothing is very that accurate, right? So counting calories is a little bit difficult depending on how you cook your food and where you get your food from. But I've never been a big calorie counter, even before I turned pro and before I competed. I know what my macros are at any given time, roughly. And I have a starting point. So in the beginning of my prep, I have whatever it may be. Let's just say it's like 250 grams of carbs, 200 to 300 grams of protein, and let's say 60, 70 grams of fat. So that's what it is. That's my diet. That's what I'm eating. I do my cardio and I train. And week by week, I look in the mirror and the scale. Just the scale alone is not a good measure because you can gain weight but be leaner, and you can lose weight but not really lose much body fat, right? So losing weight loss is different than changes in body composition. When we want to get leaner, we're not just trying to lose weight, we're trying to change body composition. So I use the scale in the mirror, and week by week, I adjust that as needed. So I'll take away carbs or I'll start a carb cycle. So at any given time, you can ask me how many carbs I'm having or how many fats. I know that. I know my actual macronutrients, but I really don't know my calories. So currently, I'm having about 150 grams of carbs on a daily basis, which is very low. But for those of you who know me, you guys know that I love eating and I'm a big eater, but I can't eat much. I gain weight, I get bigger, and I have to keep my weight down for my division. So I'm about 150 grams of carbs daily, but I have 1, sometimes 2 high carb days in a week, and I have a cheat meal currently on Sundays. So I was never big on cheat meals in the past, but right now I'm getting away with it and I enjoy it. In prep, I usually don't. I just stick with the high carb days. So my high carb days will go anywhere from 300 to 500 grams of carbs. But what I do on those days is I drop my protein 1 ounce per meal, and I drop my fats. Why do I do this? Because I'm trying to maintain body composition. But I want to utilize carbohydrates. Bringing the carbohydrates down, but bringing the fats down doesn't make a huge change in overall calories, but I'm getting the fuel source that I need and that my body will use, carbohydrates. And also bringing the protein down is something that I don't see a lot of guys doing. They're always focusing on carbs and fats, but why not drop your protein? It is calories. So if I drop my protein a little bit lower, it'll enable me to have more leeway with my calories to have more carbohydrates. Plus, carbohydrates are protein sparing. So when you guys have really, really high carb days, you don't need as much protein. And especially on my cheat days, my cheat meal might take the place of 2 or 3 meals. I'll just skip 2 or 3 meals unless I'm really hungry afterwards, and I'll have my cheat meal. So these little tricks that I've been doing help me maintain a certain body composition but still be able to eat like this. Now when you're bodybuilding and you're competitive, you got to do whatever you got to do to get better and to improve. But for lifestyle, I've definitely found a niche where I can stay around 8% body fat and have a cheat meal once a week and have a high carb day, but I'm very strict throughout the days besides the high carb day and the cheat meal. So that's something you guys got to take into consideration. If I jack my carbs up every single day 200 to 300 grams and I take away the cheat meal and I take away the high carb day, it might look the same calorically on paper, but body composition for me changes. I'll slowly start gaining weight and the scale will start going up. Whereas now, for the past 6-7 months, I've been maintaining 235 pounds roughly. Some days I'm 231, 232, some days 236. But I've been maintaining this weight while implementing cheat meals and high carb days. So, when you eat the foods that you have, food timing throughout a day and throughout a week is a huge factor. If you're eating, like I said, if I'm eating 200-300 grams of carbs every single day versus doing a lot lower and then a couple days higher, I'm able to stay leaner that way. 3-4 days low carb, 1 day high. 3 to 4 days low carb, 1 day high. And that's basically a carb cycle. In this fashion, you're able to maintain a lower body fat, but still utilize those carbohydrates to benefit you, replenish your glycogen stores, and help grow and build muscle. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it answered some questions for you guys. Feel free to reach out. You guys can ask me questions that I put in my story on Instagram or comment below, and on a weekly basis I'll take the comments, the questions that you guys have, and I'll make a new video for you guys every week answering your questions. Till next time.